Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be my girlfriend dumped me, but now she's part of my rotation. So this is an interesting email. This particular guy says he originally found my work after his girlfriend of 5 years dumped him because he became lazy, he became complacent. He said they started living together, they bought a house together, but just because he wasn't focused on making her feel heard and understood and dating and courting her properly, eventually she lost attraction and ended things. However, he came across my work, read my book a bunch. Obviously, he was pretty heartbroken about that. And so he was actually able to re-attract his girlfriend because they were living in the same house. And he says, but after a period of time, he realized that they just really weren't right for each other emotionally. And so they decided to split up, but obviously they're still living together. And so he's dating women. I guess she's dating other guys. He says, however, she continues to end up in his bed. Plus, he's got other girls. He's like, my situation is actually better than it was before. It's better. It's as good as it's ever been between him and her. And he's basically got the permanent hall pass. So what I love about these emails is people take my life's work, things that I spent my whole entire life learning and put into this book, and they're able to read it. Like this guy read, I think he said he read it over like 10 times because he had a long commute, so he's always listening to the audiobook. And just to see how the guys take the wisdom and the knowledge and apply it in their own lives and create the life and lifestyle that they want that works for them. Now, obviously, a lot of people probably wouldn't be interested in something like this, but so this guy's got the best of both, best of all worlds, really. And so it's an interesting, creative way that by just applying what's in the book, he got offered things that were totally unexpected, and life turned out even better than he thought it would be. So I thought it'd be a good email for us to go through today and point out what he did. Because it's a good email to learn from. It's like, okay, how did this guy create his world and his little kingdom, his little spot of the globe where he lives, so he can be the king of his castle, literally. So he says, hi, Corey. I want to share with you my story after finding your work. I purchased the audiobook version of 3% Man about 1.5 years ago, and it was a complete life changer for me. At the time, I had a pretty long commute to work every day and listened to it over and over again until it stuck. I can't even tell you how many times it was because I lost count after the 10th time. Yeah, people that read the book 10, 15 times or more always have the best success stories. And this is a success story to this guy. He's got the life and lifestyle that he wants. Somebody else is going to want something totally different, and that's okay. But it's a good email that we can learn from. It's like, what did he do? How did he create all this? So he says, anyways, I found your work originally because my girlfriend of 5 years at the time dumped me, and I was devastated. We just purchased a house at the time. I had plenty of money. And meanwhile, I was neglecting her and taking her for granted. Well, women want to be in a love story. The courtship never ends, which is a chapter in the book, and they want to feel heard and understood. And when I talk to guys that are trying to put back their long-term relationship or their marriage of many decades, I hear the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's always the same two things. She didn't feel heard and understood, and he stopped dating and courting her properly. Even same thing happened to Tom Brady. When you listen to what Giselle said after the breakup and why they got divorced, he didn't date and court her properly. He wasn't present, as she said. And he also obviously didn't make her feel heard and understood because he wasn't around enough. He wasn't present enough. Even when he was there, he was somewhere else. She didn't feel heard. She didn't feel understood. She didn't really feel like he was there. He was always somewhere else. And he learned the hard way. But it's Tom Brady. He's just going to date somebody younger and hotter. It's like, good for him. So he says, big mistake. He says, I found your work, purchased the audiobook, and realized everything I was doing wrong. I wasn't truly listening to what she was trying to say. Well, when a woman feels heard and understood, the legs open. And when she doesn't, the legs close. Not making her feel loved, and I stopped dating her. Yep. Because women know if you love them, if you care about them, you'll always date and court them and make them feel special and romance them, because that's what women want. They want to be in a love story. Girls just want to have fun, like the Cyndi Lauper song from the 1980s. Since both her and I still live together due to buying a house, I knew I had a greater chance of winning her back and being with her more than whatever guy she was trying to line up as my replacement. I started making her feel validated, thanking her for cleaning up around the house while I was at work, making dinner, and generally all the small things she did for me to make my life easier. He just acknowledged her. He made her feel heard, made her feel understood. He made her feel noticed because he noticed the things she was doing. Feminine energy grows through praise, so he's praising the things he likes about her and that she does for him. She was doing them before, but he just kind of took it for granted. And so the more he praises and the more he thanks her for these things, the more she does them. Whereas masculine energy grows through challenge. And that's why when I'm doing these emails and a guy's acting like a bitch, I tend to roast him because I'm challenging his manhood. I'm challenging his masculinity. I'm challenging that little inner voice of him that says, Coach, I can do it. Put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play today. Slowly but surely, and to my surprise, she warmed back up to me, and it was like old times. I was over the moon. He started acting attractive, and he started acting like the guy she fell in love with. So naturally, her feelings of attraction returned. He says, but it still wasn't meant to last because even though everything was going great, we still couldn't satisfy each other's emotional needs fully. We ended things in a kind and loving manner, and she even stayed in the house with me. This is where it gets interesting. We both started casually dating other people, and we are both free to see whoever we want, whenever we want. But, let me tell you, brother, I have it made. We may not be emotionally romantic partners or even technically together anymore, but guess whose bed she still comes to when it's playtime? Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Coach, why haven't you gotten married with one woman forever and ever? Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free, bro? And the reality is most of the people that are trying to do that, statistically, they're fat and fucking miserable. Why would I want to try to be fat and miserable like most people that aren't happy? Just like Steve McQueen, the late great Steve McQueen said, I live for myself and I answer to nobody. I live the way I want to live. Just like this guy lives the way he wants to live. And for you, the one watching this video, you need to live the way you want to live and that pleases you, because you're going to make yourself miserable if you're trying to live your life according to other people's expectations. That's just a fact of life. He says, I don't really expect her to anymore, but she still does mostly all the same things that she did when we were together. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? So he has a totally non-attached attitude. You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. He got to a point in the relationship where he recognized, this is not really what I want. She's amazing. And so he says, hey, let's date other people. He starts dating other people. She seems to be dating other people. And yet she still ends up in his bed. She's one of the girls in his rotation. She's one of the girls in his practice squad. No relationship, no commitment, but yet he's got all the goodies that he had before. So he's totally enhanced and improved his situation. I feel like my only job at this point, or he says, I feel like my only jobs at this point are to treat her like a kitty cat by letting her come to me whenever she wants attention and just hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. That's it. Your job is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. Hang out, have fun, hook up. That's it. Things with her have never been easier. We don't argue as much anymore. Well, you shouldn't be arguing at all, my man. You got to work on that. Men who understand women do not argue with them. It's assuming that they're normal and healthy and not a mentally ill Fruit Loop. That's a different thing altogether. And then listen to this. He says, we don't argue as much anymore, and we broke my bed frame a couple of nights ago. You animal. You beast. What are you doing to this poor girl? Do her parents know what you do to her in the bedroom? And go out once every couple of weeks. It almost feels like cheating having her and a couple of other ladies I'm talking to. A good problem to have. I'm sure you're really suffering through that. But remember, As the late, great Steve McQueen said, I live for myself and I answer to nobody. That's the best way to live. Because no matter what you do, there's people that are going to get upset about it and they're going to get pissed off. And there'll be other people that are going to be indifferent and they don't really care because, quite frankly, they got their own problems. And there'll be a small group of people who'll be like, man, you're my fucking hero. I love the way you live. I wish I was you. I wish I could live like you. You got a charmed life. And when you're in that place, it's a pretty good place to be. So if you got a question or challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com. Click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website and book a coaching session with yours truly. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.